Welcome to the Authentic Health Coaching Show. My name is Tom Corson-Knowles, founder of Authentic Health Coaching, and I'm so glad you joined us for the show today. We have an incredible guest for you. His name is Eric Noel, and Eric and his wife Hannah live in Vermont on a farm, and they grow all kinds of vegetables. They have a very nice vegetable garden there, and they also raise cattle, and they have some very unique methods for farming, and they're taking their business in some new directions. It's really exciting, and I just wanted to share the story with you because it's awesome to see local organic farmers who really care about the soil. They care about the food that they grow. They care about the communities that they're growing food for. They don't use GMO or any genetically modified crops or anything like that. No fertilizers, artificial fertilizers, or pesticides, herbicides. They just farm like our grandparents or our great-great-great-grandparents used to farm. All natural. Their hands in the soil, growing great, organic, amazing, delicious, nutritious food for our country. And we used to have so many, almost everyone in America used to live on farms, and now it's like less than 2% of the population. And so we have very, very few small family farmers like the Noels left in America today, and we need them. We don't have a single food supply without small local organic farmers, and that's especially true if anything like pests or weather or anything like that damages the crops in our country. We're very at risk because of our massive reliance on industrial farming, factory farming, and so we really need to instill more of this organic, local homesteading farming in this country. So I hope you enjoy the show today. Take great notes and enjoy. Tell us about your background and what got you interested in business success in the first place.
So first of all, thanks for having me. Well, I grew up on a dairy farm up in northern Vermont, and as far as farming goes, it's pretty independent individuals. So we're always striving and looking for something better, making things work properly. With the farming, had to do a lot of it on our own because it's a low margin business. It's hard to justify paying out, have somebody else do something when you can do it on your own. So we're always self-motivated. This is the foundation of why I want to build successful business. From there, I went to college for automotive technology, learned to work on cars. I've always had a passion for racing. I've been watching IndyCar racing since the late 80s, back when I was a teenager. So I always liked that technological, highly advanced racing. So I will always watch that. And then on the farm, there's a lot of equipment, so that pushed me towards working on cars because I didn't like milking cows.
Yeah.
The rest of the farming was okay, but the milking cow part was not my bag. So I went to college, and worked in dealerships and independent shops. And then tried farming again with my father. That didn't work out. So moved on, found a course, a 4-week course on how to work on Indy cars. Moved to Indianapolis, took the course. A few weeks after the course was done, I had my first IndyCar job. And I spent 3 seasons out in Indianapolis working on IndyCar teams. The last team I was on, I was the lead mechanic for a 2-time Indy 500 winner, Ari Leyendijk. So that was pretty cool. But leading into nutrition, growing up, we were a conventional dairy farm. So we used all the chemicals and commercial fertilizers. And then when I met my wife in '98, she was diagnosed with cancer. She found out the day after she graduated from college. This was a few months before we met. And so she had a thyroidectomy. She had thyroid cancer. So we met, we got married, and then we moved to Indiana. She moved out with me. And while we were in Indiana, we started going to health food stores and eating organic. And we started noticing that we were feeling better, especially my wife. So we continued to eat that way. And by the second year we were out there, we were thinking about starting a family, and we didn't want to raise them out in an apartment or out in the city in Indiana. So we decided to put a business plan together to transition the home farm here in Vermont to a diversified agriculture organic farm.
Mm-hmm.
We put that business plan together, presented it to my parents, and by the end of 2003, we were moved back to Vermont, and we started our business with a small vegetable garden the first year, a small farmer's market. But in the plan, we wanted to develop into grass-fed beef. So the first couple of years, I had other animals from other farmers here to basically teach myself how to graze animals properly using a system called planned grazing. And by 2007, we bought our own beef herd. And we were also certified organic that year, because it's a 3-year process to certify transition to farm from conventional to organic. Mm-hmm. And now, at the end of 8 years in that business, we had a 80-head beef herd. Hannah's vegetable garden grew from a little garden patch to 3 acres, and we serve 100 families with vegetables. And we do some eggs, and we had somebody raising chickens here for meat this year also. Mm-hmm. But I also kept on the automotive side. There's a shop on the farm, and I do automotive repair on part-time. Try to keep the cars running at their optimum and save the environment a little bit that way too.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I mean, obviously you've done a lot in your career and your life so far. So I mean, what have you learned? You've grown up on a farm. You know, you got to be self-sufficient. I mean, how does that translate to success in business? You know, the things that you've learned.
So with farming, determination, will, persistence are the keys with farming, because it's a pretty rough profession. There's a lot of things that get thrown at you. So that's the base. In farming, for the most part, there's a lot of scarcity. I didn't like that, so that's why I've been studying self-help and self-improvement stuff for over 10 years now. So you team the determination, persistence of farming, and then you add in the positive thinking and the positive taking action, moving forward mindset of the self-help, and that's how we're building into a successful business. Mm-hmm. Basically, never let them get you down. Don't listen to the naysayers. And we basically, there's a lot of farming around here is still dairy, and you're selling to a commodities market. You don't get to set your price. Right. I didn't like that. That goes into the scarcity mindset, because they only think they're going to get paid that much, and the price usually goes down rather than up. Right. So we built our own direct sales. We did all our own marketing, sales, distribution, just so we could set our price and build our own business and do it the way we wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And you know, I mean, people these days, I mean, if you talk about someone talks about starting a new business and they say, oh, I'm going to be a farmer. Like, no one thinks that's going to be a profitable business, or there's no way you can make money in that field. You know, I mean, well, it used to be like 70-80% of Americans lived on farms, and now it's like 2%.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a dying industry, right?
Yeah, you're right. 2% of the population nowadays is in agriculture. If you go back far enough, it was 90%. Yeah. Back when founding fathers were here, but yeah, I mean, farming, if you're selling to a commodities market, is not quite a business. I mean, you're basically managing a system. Right. Because you don't have the marketing and sales and setting your price and being able to set your margins and stuff on the regular commodity farming, which is what most farming is, especially in the Midwest and stuff with commodity grain. Mm-hmm. But if you get big enough, those small margins add up quite a bit. That's why the farmers have gotten bigger, just to make it work, so the small margins work. Mm-hmm. But as a small or medium farmer, you need to add in, especially nowadays, diversity in the farming, and also bringing the people out and educating them, and creating that as a profit stream also.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you're looking at ways to diversify your business, take it into your own hands. You don't want to sell into commodities. You want to sell, premium products to customers who want to pay a premium price for organic, local food, right?
So yeah, in order to do that, what we've been building into is a lot of education. I mean, we host tours here in the shop, on the farm, and we do workshops, seminars. I do speaking engagements at conferences and stuff. And we're always out in the community with our marketing, and our message is pretty consistent. We want to educate consumers on what real food is, how to read labels and stuff. And we're a big advocate of this, the GMO labeling law that California and Vermont are pushing for, because people need to know what's going in their bodies. I mean, 90% of the corn and soy grown in this country is genetically modified, and that goes into a lot of different food things, and most people don't know it.
Yeah.
That's why the big companies are pushing so hard not to have this labeling law. So, because once people know, they're gonna lose some market share.
Gotcha. So, I mean, what do you see for the future of the industry then? I mean, what's going to change?
Right now, the only way to know that you're not getting the GMO products is to buy organic, because it's not allowed in organic production. So, and it's only going to help your organic farmer, because that's the only seeds you can buy that are not modified, are the organic ones. So it's only going to help us in our situation. It's still a battle, because they're pushing back pretty hard, and they've got a lot more money in order to lobby against the law.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's coming close. There's build up behind it on the grassroots organic side. So I think it's going to be like a David and Goliath kind of thing, and we'll win out eventually.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Well, I hope so for the future of our economy and our food system and our food supply. I've talked to a lot of people about this issue before, and a lot of people are saying, the biggest threat to the United States, national security is not, terrorism. It's our food supply, because our food supply is so poor and so weakly done. We grow all these massive monocrops. Just one pest or one plague or one drought could just wipe out most of the food in this country.
Right, and most of our Western diet is based on processed grains, flour, and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main cause of all these dietary diseases. So building back a proper food supply is gonna be basically our health care.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta start by preventing it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So, I mean, what do you see in the future for you guys then? Where are you going to take the business, and what's your next step?
So this year we made the decision to move from the home farm, the family farm. We tried a generational transfer. It didn't go as planned, but it forced us to make a decision to leave, which is a good thing, because we're moving towards it in a direction of coaching, consulting, and education. And right now we're looking to buy a farm in the islands of Vermont, in South Hero. And it's an ideal place as far as location to the airport. And there's a thriving organic community over there already. And with the infrastructure that's on the farm already, we'll be able to develop and have festivals and seminars and workshops, and be able to have interns still and do all that sort of thing. And just basically what we want to do is position ourselves as the authority in the organic lifestyle and farming niche.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've done it for 10 years now, and we know what's going on, we know what to do, and we're still doing it. And we're going to continue to do it on that farm. And we're going to teach people how it's done, and they're going to see us doing it, and then they're going to learn and see that, we're a pretty healthy bunch over here. We don't get sick very much.
Yeah.
The kids are strong, big, and very athletic. So it's just going to be, I like leading by example. Just keep striving after everything that I think can make us feel better, improve water quality, soil health, because it starts from that foundation. You get the soil in proper balance, with all the nutrients that you need in there, and that they're available to the plant. It's going to make everything that you produce from that soil nutrient dense and for proper health, and every animal that you're feeding off that forage on that soil and grass, it's going to make everything nutrient dense. And everything just builds upon itself. It's a synergistic system. Once you unlock that key and you get this biological cycle rolling in a property, everything just expands on itself.
Definitely. So what I hear you saying is that you guys are basically kind of transitioning. I mean, you're still doing the farming, creating the crops and the cattle and things like that for people, but you're really transitioning much more to like a service-based business or consulting-based business where you're actually educating the public and doing tours and things like that, where you're educating people. So you're really kind of taken one business and turned it into an entire platform to do all kinds of education work.
Right. So yeah, with this new farm, we're going to have hired farmers to basically replace Hannah and I, my wife, do the day-to-day physical movement of cattle and vegetable production. I mean, we're going to set up the systems, and we'll plan with the new farmers and be right there alongside of them when they need help and stuff. But it's going to allow us to educate the people of the country, because we're going to be developing. I'm already doing a cable access TV show here locally, and we're just going to keep developing that and our products, and eventually write a book and get our message out to the mass public.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you talk about all these things you're doing for marketing, public speaking and being on television and all these interviews and things that you do. I mean, you think of like a farmer, and you don't think of someone who's out there doing those kinds of things. You think of someone who's just in the fields working all day and, wake up early and go to bed late kind of thing, or go to bed when the sun sets,
Yeah. See, that's the old farmer. That kind of farming, if they continue to stay in that vein, and if they're at the size that we are, they aren't going to survive. You need to be out there getting to your customer, making sure you have a relationship with all your customers. That's how you're going to make it, because then you'll be able to set your price. And if the economy goes bad, it doesn't matter, because you have your customers and they're buying from you.
Right.
You're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about what the market's doing, because you have your own economy, your own market.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why we've done it the way we've done it, because we saw this coming. And the old farmers, I mean, they're set in a way they think the way they're doing it and the way they've done it is the way it's still got to be done. But I'm sorry, it's just not going to end up that way. I don't foresee it that lasting that much longer.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, everything's changed these days. I mean, used to be everyone went to farmers markets and they bought from the local farmers, 100 years ago, and now it's like, you go to Walmart, you go to Whole Foods if you eat organic, and like you just, you get all your produce there. You never even talk to a farmer anymore. Never even see a farmer anymore.
No. Yeah, we want to change that. The first thing I usually tell somebody is to find a farmer and get to know your farmer, because that's the only way you're going to know what's really in your food.
Yeah, exactly.
I call grocery stores nutrient deserts, because it's just a bunch of food stuff. Anything that's in a package or been processed is not really food anymore. And even the vegetables, the only way they're grown is with chemicals and commercial fertilizers, so they're pretty much empty, void of nutrients and stuff.
Well, Eric, thanks so much for being able to stay on the show. I know you shared some awesome information, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing. I wish we had a lot more farmers like you and your wife who are, doing such amazing work.
Thanks for having me.
Hey there, it's Tom Corson-Knowles again. I hope you loved the show today with Eric Noel. I hope you got some great ideas from him, and I hope you'll go out there and support your local farmers, wherever you live in the United States or in other countries as well. Go out and find some local farmers in your area. Go to the farmers markets, buy some fresh, local, organic produce, and I think you'll notice a huge world of difference, not just in the quality of the produce, but the taste. It tastes so much better, it's so much more nutritious. It's awesome to actually meet a farmer and ask them about, how they grow their foods and do they use this or that, and to really see something coming from the ground, coming from the soil, growing new life that's food for your body, food for your soul. And if you can get a chance, go even once you meet the farmers at the farmers markets, you can even go and tour or visit your local farmer and see how they do stuff. How your food is actually grown. Because I think today we've become so disconnected as a society in America and most of the developed nations across the world that we don't even see people growing food anymore. It's so rare. Everything you do is you go to the grocery store and you buy this in a can and that in a bottle and this in a plastic tub. And that's all we see of food these days. But I think it's great to get back to our roots and to get some amazing, delicious, nutritious, organic food. So hope you enjoyed the show today. Hope you got a lot of great information out of that. And come join us at AuthenticHealthCoaching.com, where you can get your free copy of Dr. Corson's top 5 nutrition tips. I hope that report will help you take your health to the next level. And I'll see you next week. All right, take care.